one of the first countries in Africa to have their independence. He was assassinated and overthrown by the CIA. So when we talk about how are we as American blacks, African black people living in the continent, how are we to repay our respects and to make sure that the work that Nkrumah lived for, his legacy, does not go in vain. So as an American person, quote unquote, as a labeled American, as a black woman going back to Ghana and feeling like I was just gonna meet all of my relatives off the plane, like, auntie, I missed you, I love you so much. They met me with a very, very, very clear critique of who I am and all of the privilege that my passport held. And I didn't know until I got able to go across the world and really see and travel the same seas that we were stolen from, what that really meant in its entirety. So for me, the purpose of this conference, the purpose of this organization, the purpose of us gathering and calling ourselves the African Black Coalition is for us to undoubtedly and unapologetically accept the burdens, the issues, the challenges, and the successes of our people collectively. It's not always easy to gather in a room full of black people. It's not always easy to come together and be ourselves, be our best and our brightest, because we have not been given permission in the context of this land to do so without violence. We haven't been given the permission to do so without division. So I ask you all, as we pass it to the party, to remember that above all else, above all of our discrepancies, above all of our discomfort and all of our issues, we got work to do. And if you show up to the table, we can clap for that. We got work to do. We can complain all day. We can even party all day. We love it. But at the end of the day, there are people that look like you, that got the same blood running through their veins, that's somewhere struggling. We ourselves in this seat, hot, fresh off a FAFSA check, are struggling. And I'm not the type to sit here and say that we are not privileged, but we definitely have a lot more power than we are accessible, that we know of and have full consciousness of. So I thank you for your time. I'll pass it at this time over to Brother Ahjamu and the All-African People's Revolutionary Party. And side note, if you're trying to go to Ghana, hit me.
How you doing, African family? On behalf of the All-African People's Revolutionary Party, we really extend our thank you and appreciation to the African Black Coalition for allowing us to come here and participate. We're honored to be here and participate with you. I work regularly with Sister Takarra and Sister Tia with the West to West School in Sacramento, and I'm honored to have a relationship and work with our youth there with them. And I just want to honor also and recognize my comrades that are here. Brother Ahjamu from Richmond, California, Brother Akabundu here from Milpitas, Brother LaRon who came with us, and my much better half, Sister Osagyefo, who came here, who was a part of our New Mexico chapter of the All-African People's Revolutionary Party. And we'll be sharing more with you, and we don't have much time, so I just want to really quick say to you as young students, we are glad to speak with you. I talk to people my age all the time, and most of us my age are insane, you all. Verifiably insane. We do nothing but talk about what's wrong with our youth, and I tell us every day there is nothing wrong with our youth. The problem is you. You're the ones selling out to capitalism. All you care about is your house payment, your cars, and your vacation. Your youth look at you, and I know they don't respect you because I don't respect you. So what I just want to say in the few minutes that we have here is that this system, because we're here and they're telling us that our responsibility is to try to fit into the American capitalist system. And let's just take 3 minutes to evaluate that, because we're telling you the truth. So we don't have to lie. So we don't have to take 12 years of having you go to school to lie to you. We can tell you the truth in 3 minutes. So I know it's hard to see, and we apologize for that, but African people are creative, so we found a way to at least project it up there. So if you can see that, you can see, what's that a picture of? Anybody? That's the transatlantic slave trade, right? And the reason why it's called transatlantic is because initially people came from Europe, they had molasses, they had guns, they had jewelry, and they traded those with our people in Africa and sold us here. That's the first leg of the triangle. Then us coming to the Western Hemisphere was the second leg, and then us picking cotton, sugarcane, hemp, etc. And that money going back to Europe was the third leg. But the important thing to understand about that is what happened to the money when it went back to Europe? What happened to it? They did more than develop a country. That money that came from our ancestors picking cotton was used to establish the industrialization which became the capitalist system, which is the dominant economic system in the world today. So if you're talking about you want to be a capitalist, you're talking about perpetuating a system that is based on exploiting our people. The wealth in this country is based on exploiting Africa. Nobody can dispute that. Nobody can dispute that. So if we're trying to get rich off of that wealth, we're trying to exploit ourselves. There's no way around that. Real quick. Thank you. Yeah. So real quick. So we talk about what is it? So if you can see these, the entire banking industry in this country was started from seed money, from the transatlantic slave trade. All the banks you bank with, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, each and every one of them was started from seed money, from selling and exploiting our ancestors. Tell me if I'm wrong. You can Google it, it's there for you. They've even, because of the pressure from the reparations movement, they've had to acknowledge this. You can Google US banks and slavery and they've all come out with statements acknowledging it. Aetna, the insurance, the health insurer, they started by selling premiums on our ancestors. That's how they started. Masterlock started. You can imagine what Masterlock started doing. They made slave shackles. They kept the name, Masterlock. That's appropriate. Brooks Brothers Suits started by selling clothes for our ancestors to wear while picking cotton. I saw a brother not that long ago, he's like, I got a Brooks Brothers suit. I'm like, you're not the first African to wear their clothes. All right? So look at the fact that Wall Street, they say Wall Street's the financial center of the US and the world. But it didn't happen because of the stock market, y'all. It happened because in 1711, Wall Street, New York was the largest open-air slave market on the planet Earth. And it became known then as the financial center of the world because people would come all over the world to buy our ancestors there. So this entire system was created based on exploiting us. So you say, well, yeah, that was then. Now I can get my piece now and I can make up for that. Let's examine that for a second. We can just click all the way. Yeah, thank you. So they didn't just establish the system on our backs, they maintain it on our backs. All those devices up there don't work without Africa. Wow. All those devices up there don't work without Africa. What am I talking about? Who in here has a cell phone? Everybody has a cell phone. Who in here has a laptop? Everybody has a laptop. Columbite tantalite is the mineral ore, you all, that when you grind it down into a powder, it facilitates and holds digital technology. It's the only way anything you have, your Xbox, whatever it is, anything that gives and receives a signal will not work without Columbite tantalite. You can only get it from one place in plentiful supply in the world, the Congo, Central Africa. So our people, young people like you and younger, right now as we speak, get paid $12, $30 a week to work 12 hours a day, to die at age 30 getting black lung, digging out this Columbite tantalite so that we can be excited because we got a Samsung phone. Now I'm not saying you can't have a cell phone, but understand if you're trying to get rich off of that kind of system, that's the system that exploits our people. That's what it does. Aluminum comes from bauxite. So if you got aluminum, I got me some aluminum wheels. Yeah, you should. You're African and they're African. It's African aluminum. It comes from the bauxite from Ghana. That's where it comes from. The laptop, everything else. So if we just look at that, this system is based on exploiting and stealing from our people. The wealth in this country came from that process and it continues to come from that process. So our only message to you as we end our presentation here is that we have got to be organized as a people. Now, in the All-African People's Revolutionary Party, our message is that no African anywhere on earth will be free until Africa is free. No African will be free until Africa is free. Now, that doesn't mean you have to pack your bags and go to Africa now. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that, but that doesn't mean that. Marcus Garvey, one of the best servants of Africa in our history, never made it to Africa. But he lived his life fighting for African people. So please don't misunderstand the message. The message is that no matter what we do, we've got to liberate Africa if we really want to be free, because that's where the resources are. And resources are power, you all. We are right now in the San Joaquin Valley, is that right? We are in the San Joaquin Valley. Y'all know, y'all that live here, you know this. The San Joaquin Valley is one of the 5th largest food producing regions on the planet Earth. Is that right? One of the 5th largest. If you've had fruits, vegetables, if you've drank wine, if you've had almonds, nuts, you've eaten, I don't care where you live on Earth, you've eaten something grown from the San Joaquin Valley. The San Joaquin Valley is 50,000 hectares of land. In Africa today, we have 600 million hectares of arable agricultural land in which not a single banana is being grown. We can wipe out starvation on the planet Earth. The only thing we need to do is gain control of our homeland. That's what we need to do. Then we can solve these problems. So when we say that we're Pan-Africanists, we just want you to understand that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about where you live. We're talking about empowering us as a people wherever we are on the planet Earth. Because we understand one of the main fundamental problems we have is that this system has taught everybody to disrespect us, and it's taught us to disrespect ourselves and each other. Is that right or wrong? But if a group of Chinese people came in here right now, we would turn around and look at them and we would respect them because China is a respected country on the earth, right? But when I was a little child, 3,000 years ago, my grandmother used to say to me, when you would do something that you didn't have much chance of being successful completing, she would always say to me, you don't have a Chinaman's chance of doing that. You all never heard that phrase, because since she said that, China has had a revolution and now it's one of the strongest, most industrialized countries on earth. Now, we don't want to do it the same way they're doing it. There are a lot of problems with how they're doing it, but we need what they've done. We need a strong homeland where we can be respected. That's why they shoot us down in the streets. That's why they incarcerate us. That's why they do all this stuff, because we have no way to bring consequences against them. So what we're talking about doing is organizing our people on a worldwide basis. And in the All-African People's Revolutionary Party, we have chapters all throughout Africa, all throughout Europe, the Caribbean, all throughout the United States of America, and in Canada. And we're uniting our people as one fighting force. I'm just telling you this, you all, because you're not going to see it on CNN and CIA networks. They're not going to tell you about that. So we have to bring it here and tell you about it. So we're happy to have you here. We have to report back. We were happy Sister Takarra could join us over there. We're going to do another workshop a little later. We're so happy to be here with you all. We just want to say thank you. Stay strong. Don't let them confuse you in these bourgeois institutions. Or as we say, don't let school interfere with your education. All right? Forward ever.